Okay guys, there is a question I get asked quite a bit because I've been on so many bear hunts all across North America, and there's a lot of people that are going on their first bear hunt, or maybe don't have that much experience bear hunting in a certain area, say Canada or something like that, and they want to know, what kind of clothing should I bring and what layering system should I use, or will I need a layering system? Is spring hunt, fall hunt, or whatever? So I thought I would just take a few minutes today to go through what I take on a bear hunt, and I've been on, I think, over 30 bear hunts in Canada plus all over the United States. And so I've kind of narrowed it down to what I really think I'll need and the things that I always take because I expect to wear certain things, and then also just a few extra things that I throw in because you just never know what you might run into. And in this, for example, in a spring bear hunt, if you're in the southern part of Canada, say Ontario, or the eastern part of Canada, maybe southern Manitoba, Saskatchewan, if you're on a spring bear hunt in May and June, you can run into all kinds of different weather. The fall bear hunts are typically a little bit warmer, but then, as you go north, I have been on a spring bear hunt in June way up in Lake Athabasca area of northern Saskatchewan, where, it was warm during the day but pretty cold at night. And so, anyway, I've just kind of pulled stuff out of a tote. After I use these things, when I come home, I wash them with a scent killer detergent, and then I put them in the totes, and I keep them sealed up in the totes to minimize the amount of scent that the clothing have on them. So, but today I just pulled a bunch of stuff out of here so I can kind of go through each of these type of things and show you the specific items, I guess, that I really like to wear and have really arrived on. These are my favorite things to take on a bear hunt. So let's just say, you're facing a typical day in a Canadian bear hunt where it gets up into the 70s during the day, and then when the sun goes down, it cools off. Let's just start there. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the pants that I think are the greatest thing ever invented for bear hunters, and these pants are called the Durhams by Huntworth, and they've got reinforced seats and reinforced knees, and they're a real flexible, stretchy fabric that is super comfortable, and it's cool. So when it's warm and you're sitting on a tree stand and maybe the sun's on you a little bit, these are the ideal pants to wear. And by the way, I wanted to tell you about the camouflage. All of the bear hunting clothing that I'm wearing these days is this Tarnin camouflage, and I've done other videos on that and reasons why, but just to refresh your memory on a couple of key points. First of all, I like the fact it's got a lot of green in it. I like the fact that it's got some horizontal and vertical pattern to it, and it's got a lot of white in it if you're sitting in a tree stand and you got a real light background behind you. So this is a camo that I think is ideal for bear hunters. It's called Tarnin, and it's by Huntworth. And as you'll notice, all of this clothing is Huntworth clothing, and I've fallen in love with it. I established a relationship with Huntworth, so where I can promote their clothing, and for everything you buy and use my code, I get a little kickback from it. So I'm going to tell you that straight up. So I don't want this to be an ad, but I also want I want to be honest with you that if you use the code, which I'll put on the screen, I'll also put in the description box below, if you buy this clothing, I get a small kickback from it. It's one of the things that keeps this YouTube channel going, because otherwise I wouldn't continue to do it for what little YouTube pays me. So anyway, the Durham pants, and then I'm just going to wear just a shirt, a light, long-sleeved camouflage shirt, along with these pants. And so here's a good example of a light shirt. This one happens to have a hood that you can pull up. And so these are the two items that I'm going to be wearing for warm weather, plus of course a hat. And I'll always have a pair of light gloves in my backpack with me in case I need to pull them on. And of course a face mask that I can pull up over my ears and over my face. Those are things that will always be in my backpack. So when it gets cool in the evenings, I'm going to also have something strapped to the straps on my backpack, and it's either going to be a hoodie like this one right here, just a basic hoodie that I can pull on and try to minimize my movement, but get something pulled on me quickly and as it cools off in the evening, because a lot of times I don't want to start shivering, you know, and make a lot of movement and so forth. Another option is this jacket right here is one that I take with me all the time, and if it's a little cooler, then this is the jacket that I take in place of the hoodie. And I don't know what this one's called. Microband Scent Control. I don't know, but you'll find this light. It's their midweight jacket, and it's on their website. And I'll put a link in the description below. Of course, I always take rain gear, and so I got a rain jacket and a good pair of rain pants, and those are always in my tote that I take with me. And if I need to take them out during the day, then they'll be rolled up in the bottom of my backpack. And these are real nice and tight, and they're very good quality rain gear. And it seems like if you go for a week, you're probably going to need them one day. So it just doesn't. It's not a good idea to go without good rain gear that you can wear in the stand. And if you run into a situation like I did in Manitoba 4 or 5 years ago, it just was brutal cold. I was there, it was before Memorial Day, but it was, I think, late May, and I mean, I was sitting in a tree stand, it was snowing, and I literally put on everything I brought, I think, because I had all of this stuff on, including these pants here that I'll tell you about in a minute, but then I ended up putting my rain gear on also to prevent the wind from blowing through, and so it worked great as a wind protector. I'd have been really cold if I didn't have this rain gear along. There's one other thing here. This one's not even open yet. This is an ultimate heat system. So if you end up having cold weather, it's not a bad idea to have a heat system base layer like this along. And it's actually a good long-sleeved shirt to wear. Even if it's warm, it's not bad to have that on. And then when it cools off, you pull a hoodie on and you're just nice and toasty warm. So those are the things I expect to wear all the time. And then there's a few things that I take just in case you run into some bad weather. One of them is a hat, a warm hat that'll cover your ears and so forth, that you just never know. And that's just always in the bottom of my backpack too, because sometimes you just want to warm up your head a little bit. A vest is a really good thing to have. I end up wearing it quite a bit. And in fact, in the mornings when I get up, maybe I'm going to go fishing or just hang around camp or whatever, a lot of times I just pull that vest on, something easy to take off as the day warms up. If it is cold in the stand, I wish I would have this one with me that time I mentioned in Manitoba when it was so cold, because I could have put this on under some of this other stuff and it would have really helped me keep warm. I ended up shooting a really nice bear on that trip, but it was trying, I'll put it that way. And then of course these are the midweight Huntworth pants. I think they call them Elkins, and see if it says that in here. It does not, but I think they're the Elkins pants, and they're like the midweight, and they got a little bit of insulation in them. I'll show you. And this is getting kind of long, I realize, but see, they have some insulation in there, and so they're a little warmer than you know, a regular pair of blue jeans or most hunting pants, just denim pants or whatever. As far as footwear goes, I take two kinds of boots with me. I take a pair of rubber boots, because sometimes you got to walk through mud or water to get to the stand, or if you're trailing a bear or whatever, you might want rubber boots on. They also help reduce scent. So I end up wearing these more often than not. But the other option that I always take with me is I have a good pair of leather hunting boots, because if you end up in a situation where you're hiking a lot or walking a lot on dry ground, a good pair of boots, like I've been on spot and stalk hunts and hound hunts and things like that, where the leather boots were a better choice. So these are the things that I have with me, and I've learned that I'm going to be comfortable, and however I layer these or what combinations I use based on whatever the weather is going to be. And then, I want to mention one other thing, looking at my notes here. If you hunt in the fall, On a lot of states and provinces, you have to take orange with you. Ontario is a good example. You've got to have an orange hat and or vest, I believe it is, but don't quote me on that. Make sure you check the regulations. But in some places, if you're hunting in the fall hunt, if there might be something else open, say a grouse season or something like that, you might have to wear orange. So keep that in mind and make sure you double check on that. I don't believe I've ever hunted anywhere in the spring where I had to wear orange, but and the other thing is, I think in some places, if you're bow hunting, you don't have to wear orange, but if carrying a firearm, then you have to have orange on. So make sure you keep up to speed on that. I want to mention again that all of this clothing is Huntworth clothing. I really believe in their products. I love their products. I wouldn't wear anything else. And I'm going to put a link here in the description below, and then also I'll put this code in there. When you order, if you use this code, you'll get a 20% discount, and I get a small kickback from it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.